Hey, welcome back to Homegrown Gearheads. Today we're going to tear apart 05 YZ85. We picked this one up for Sebastian this last winter. It needs a few things. We picked it up cheap because it needed a few things. So we're going to tear apart seats, plastics, airbox. Eventually we're going to be putting a top end on this is what we're doing. So we're going to be getting the carburetor off of it. We got a sticky throttle that we're going to be taking care of. We got a couple oil leaks that we might be checking into, so this motor might actually end up getting split, and we might end up doing about a full rebuild. We'll see when we get it torn apart, but today we're going to do a time lapse. Sebastian's going to tear it down. We're also going to pull rear wheel off probably, or at least get it moved forward so we can get chains and sprockets off of it, and we can check in to see if we're going to need new ones of those for this season too. So we're going to get torn into this, and we'll get some more footage as we go. This one might be kind of a little bit longer project over the next couple weeks with the rebuild and stuff like that. So we'll get some footage and let Sebastian see if he can get this thing torn apart. Alright, so today we're back working on the 85. Sebastian got quite a bit of it torn apart yesterday. I came out last night actually and ended up pulling the rear swing arm and motor out of it, but it's not a lot of work. It's one bolt that goes through the swing arm and the back of the trans, and then two kind of towards the front up here. Then you got the one that goes through the swing arm, and you got bolt down on the dog bone for the rear shock. So looks like I tore a lot apart last night, but it really wasn't much more that we didn't get enough footage. But I tore the motor out because I wanted to check a few things. I actually started tearing a little things apart and figured I probably should get some video. So tore apart side cover, checked the clutch basket, see how that was. Checked clutch discs, see how they were looking for wear. Checked reeds, see if they were torn up or anything. I got a couple seals that I know I need that were leaking around the shifter and the outdrive. When I bought this bike, the complaint was the guy said it was starting to have noise in fourth gear possibly. I noticed that the chain was super tight when I bought it, so I kind of ignored his tranny noise maybe complaint and contributed to possibly the front sprocket being so bad. It had shark finned right over, so the chain being too tight and possibly maybe a bearing or something. There is a little bit of tranny noise in this thing, so I'm gonna probably split the case and check into everything on this, honestly. So I'm probably gonna buy a whole gasket kit, and I'm actually gonna pull the head off today. That's why I might get some footage on that. I just want to pull the head and jug off to see how the bore looks, to know whether I need a jug or whether I can just do a piston ring and gaskets on this thing. So we're gonna get a little bit of that torn apart, see what more we need for parts, and hopefully start getting this 85 back together pretty soon so we can get some practice in. Alright, so I got this motor torn down, split apart. We're in pretty bad shape actually, to be honest. So, head's pretty pinged up. Looks like this thing's been blown up once before. Piston ring is pretty scarred up. Had some oil tracks and other bad stuff going on with it, which I wasn't surprised by. That's kind of what I expected for piston ring. Piston itself has a few scratches on the sides. It's kind of normal for when these things start to go bad. That one is not normal though. That's normally a little bit of an issue. So that made me start looking more. Top isn't terrible. Right there is where you can see the, looks like the piston ring was allowing a bunch of blow by right there by where the pin is. Wrist pin felt good, rod feels good. Crank bearings feel good, but that piston is pretty tore up. You can see right there where it looks like it might have transferred some aluminum over onto the bore in between the exhaust ports. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to clean that up, or I think I'm going to have to do a new jug. And I think this is a newer jug actually, from looks like when apparently they blew it up and messed up this head, I'm guessing. But also, gears are pretty tore up. You can see, you can get the hand down in here, fourth gear down in there, pretty trashed. There's actually a spot missing on the output gear somewhere. Right there you can see a couple teeth missing down in here. There's also some chunks up higher. Even first gear's got part of a tooth missing right here. So, guess we're going to be looking for a gear set. The bearing on this side where the output shaft is, from the chain being too tight, inside this other case half, it's pretty discolored, so I'm going to say it was pretty strained. So I'm going to get a new bearing for there. Like I said, crank bearings I think are going to be good. We're gonna try them. We'll find out. You know, there's some other discoloration here on the shifter. This thing probably ran out of oil. I'm guessing it probably ran out of oil because the seal that was around the shift shaft was actually, well, all this crumbled up plastic JB Weld and O-rings and whatever else somebody else had cobbled in there. So I'm guessing that leak probably led to a leak tranny with no fluid, which ended up to riding with no fluid, which overheated this, and probably what led to some gear failure. Well, because they were too lazy to fix a $3 seal. So we got some work to put in this one in the next couple weeks, but we're gonna get some parts coming, bearings, seals, see what I can find for a gear set. I'm a little worried on that. That might be a eBay look, or I'll check around. We do have a couple ATV junkyards and stuff like that locally, so YZ85s I don't think are going to be a common find though. So head, I think it's reusable. It doesn't look like any of those cracks go through or anything into, because there is water in the top side of this head, so I might do some more checking into that to make sure that's not going to be a problem in the future, but it should be reusable. Piston, we're going to get a new one of those. New ring. Probably a new jug. And a new gear set. So, yeah. I guess I'll let you know when we're back into this project. We're going to have to get some parts. I already got a few things on the way. But definitely going to have to add to the cart. All right, so I think we're going to leave off here for the week at Homegrown Gearheads. We got the YZ85 all torn apart, figured out what we need for parts, figured out all the problems. We got the frame torn down, got a few things we're going to work on there, you know, chain, sprocket. I'm going to check swing arm bearing and bushings and all that stuff. So we'll fix throttle cable and hopefully get some parts on the way, get this motor back together. Yeah, we found out more problems with the motor than what I was kind of expecting, or I was hoping. You know, I was hoping to get lucky on some of these things, but you know, even for what I paid for this bike, I can't complain. I got it for half the price of what everything else is on the market right now. So if I got to put a few $100 into a motor, I'm still further ahead, and hopefully I'll have a reliable bike to run for the next season or two. So just got to do the work. You know, this is where what I'm trying to promote, I guess, on this channel is to, you know, make people realize that you can tear these things apart. You can, you know, break it completely down. You can figure out what the problems are. You can buy the parts for it. You can put it back together, and you just got to put in the work, buy the parts, know what you're kind of doing a little bit, be willing to learn, and just do the work, and you end up with, you know, a nice bike in the long run for a third of the price, you know. So just got to be willing to do the work. That's all it is. So get out there, get your hands dirty. See you next time.